thrifting ain't easy, unless you're watching me.
You know I gotcha, yeah! One, break the wall, break down the walls. For those about to rock, and what you want, baby, you know you do this, and I'm yours.
Welcome! You're watching the Thrift Store Rundown, where we bring Hollywood home on a budget. This week, we need your help to break the rules down. Rules worth following and rules worth breaking. All things being equal, you decide this week if you want to be a rule follower, rule bender, or rule breaker. If I can't put this any more simply, this week is all about the rules. There are two types of people. Those who think that getting invited to a farmhouse dinner with Food Network's Nancy Fuller would feel something like this.
Rules that I live by: fresh is best, chop chop in the pot, no frills or fuss, oh my, and it's always better with family.
And then there are those people who would think it would feel something more like this. It all depends on your take on her farmhouse rules. Rules worth following, and rules worth breaking. And rules worth eating. Really? Rules you can eat? I'll explain what she means as we take a look at her simple seasonal meals for the whole family. This cookbook, published by Grand Central Life and Style Publishing with photographs by Jamie Prescott, was picked up for 50% off $5.99 from Red, White, and Blue Thrift Store in Patterson at a retail prices of $30 in the US and $36 in Canada. The host of the #1 in-kitchen show on the Food Network, an upstate New York farm girl ever since her childhood, and a multi-million-dollar business owner, if you can believe that, delivers a cookbook to fulfill America's yearnings for authentic comfort food to share with family and friends. Farmhouse Rules. Now, is she Lee Drummond pioneer woman level? Well, on this channel at least, no. This is a maiden voyage. But she will be given a fair and good clean trial. The recipes are divided into the 4 seasons, starting with spring, and they're working their way through summer, fall, and winter. They're divided further than that, but we'll get to that as soon as we get to the farmhouse rules for the cook. These are tips, techniques, and practices you should follow in order to become a good cook, regardless of if you live in a farmhouse or not. And the proper kitchenware needed to become a good cook. And, well, it's the usual: a cast iron skillet, a food processor, a wooden spoon, timer, spatula, lettuce spinner, thermometer, heavy Dutch oven, the works. The essentials. As far as the recipes go, well, again, they're divided into the 4 seasons, but they're further divided into the following. Good morning. And then we have here lunches, starters and sides, suppers, and desserts. So it's breakfast, lunches, starters and sides, suppers, dinners, and desserts. We'll be highlighting a fair amount of recipes in here from every season. So let's get started in the spring. Here we have a light, refreshing, spring-like orzo salad with spring peas and creamy herb dressing, which will serve 4, as do a good majority of these recipes. Next up, we have here a basil watermelon bisque, which serves 4 to 6. If nothing else, the recipes do take good advantage of the fresh, seasonal produce out there that's just ripe for the picking, wherever you may find it. Farmer's market, an actual farm, or just a regular old grocery store. Here we have cast iron filet mignon sandwiches meant for 2. Let me say that again, in case you're looking for an effective and somewhat neat romantic dinner. Cast iron filet mignon sandwiches, which will serve 2. This came from a pal named Kitty, who gets a thank you from Nancy. She does, and many, many others who contributed to the TV series and the cookbook do, but not the viewers or the readers. In fact, they get a runaround acknowledgement in the beginning of the book under gratitude And one of my acknowledgements are what I call acknowledgements that mention the readers but don't specifically thank them directly. And they're not tolerated around here. But anyway, let's move on to breakfast spaghetti pie. This kind of reminds me of dessert spaghetti, but in the right way. Meaning, it doesn't remind me of the Elf's dessert spaghetti. It's breakfast spaghetti pie, which uses spaghetti, bacon, an onion, eggs, Parmesan cheese, mozzarella cheese, peas, and cottage cheese. Really more of a brunch spaghetti pie than anything else, but the kids do have the option of adding maple syrup, which makes it more breakfasty. I think we might be getting into elf territory with that, the option of maple syrup. In my view, you're better off without it. One last recipe in here. Happy Holly's Banana Cream Pie. A winter dessert, but really a dessert for all time. Who doesn't savor a banana cream pie? Any season. Yum or yum it hot. You'll find plenty of anecdotes and quotes about family life and farm life and cooking sprinkled throughout, like this one. Cooking is like love. It should be entered into with abandon or not at all. Harriet Van Horn. You'll also find ingredient prep tips, substitutions, and a conversational tone throughout. It's actually full of carries so expertly on a show, I like to think, even though I haven't watched, and throughout this book, which I did read cover to cover to prep for this review. And one word about the photography, the food photography, as well as the scenic photos. I have to say, these are some of the more exemplary photos I've seen in a cookbook to date, purchased from Red, White, and Blue, or anywhere else here in Patterson. The photos of the recipes, scrumptious and delicious, the scenic photography, the portrait photography. This is Nancy with her husband, David. And that brings me to minding your manners. Now this is where the rules really come into play. Oh, by the way, regarding the farmhouse rules, Nancy explains at the turn of the 20th century that rules were just another term for recipes. Yes, back then they called recipes rules. And if that's the case today in some more secretive rural areas of this country, we got here some pretty resplendently delicious rules. But about the rules, the manners, we have over 30 of them when you get invited to a farmhouse dinner with anyone at any time. I'm not going to read them all, but I will read a few key rules. Always sit down at the dinner table. Behave and sit still. Don't get up to take a phone call, and don't let the kids run around. Sit up straight. Never smell the food before you eat it. Why never smell the food, huh? That's rule number 8. Hey, if somebody smells the food, they want to find out if it's good or not. It's a form of quality control for you and for the guests. If it smells good, don't want to devour it from the get-go. What's next? A rule about how fast or how slow you need to eat and chew your food? There are also rules for placing your knife and fork in certain positions to indicate whether you're done with your food or if you're taking a rest between bites. Always put your chair under the table when you leave the table. Always lay the napkin on the seat when you leave the table. No elbows on the table. Classic. Always ask to be excused. Respect your elders. Take responsibility for your actions. Always say yes. Never say yeah. In some cultures, but not all of them. 32 rules in all. With a kid demonstrating some of the rules. So that's about it. If I was to get invited to a farmhouse dinner with Nancy Fuller, well, I guess I would attend solely for the purpose of observing, reporting, eating, and of course participating in the rules. The next time around, if I were to do it all from scratch and follow every single one of the 32 rules to a T, I would rather be force-fed, wearing a straitjacket, in isolation at Walray State Prison before following all those rules again. Hey, I'm from Patterson, New Jersey, And a lot of us here in Patterson aren't really the hoity-toity farmhouse black-tie business owners. I know I'm not, I'm rough around the edges. But mingling with a food network star of any kind would certainly make the first time around worth it. Heck, the rules themselves look and sound pretty tasty, as long as you distinguish between the two sets of rules. And if you can do that, then you, like me, can award this 4.5 out of 5 claps. Farmhouse Rules by Nancy Fuller. Come for the rules, stay for the rules, eat the rules. Next time around, come for the rules.
Forget the rules.
But don't forget the rules. After all, Nancy Fuller's Farmhouse Rules are nothing if not unforgettable. Thanks for tuning in. Just so you know, there's no limit to bringing Hollywood home on a budget. Please go ahead and check out another awesome review like this one by clicking here, and make sure you subscribe by clicking here. Until next time, I'll catch you, as I always do, on the flip side.